Hello all. Thank you all for joining. We'll give it a couple of minutes and just wait for everyone to join in. I can see participants are going up, which is great to see. Good morning, Bill. Thank you for joining. Good morning, Shahid, as well. And Mohammed, thank you. Good morning, Gregory. We'll just give it one more minute and see if there's any last minute people coming on, and then we'll start. Good morning, Iabi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for using the web chat function so quickly. It's great to see. Okay, so we've given it a couple of minutes. We'll start now. So thank you to everyone for joining today's live webinar. This is the final webinar of a four-part series to help members renew their IFA membership and make sure that you're compliant with the member regulation and IFA regulations. And for some of you, also make sure that you're compliant with the money laundering regulations if you're supervised by the IFA for compliance with the money laundering regulations. Sorry, as an IFA member firm. My name's David. I'm the membership manager. I will be hosting this. We've also got online, we've got Tim, who is the director of professional standards, and we've got Bill, who is the head of AML and compliance. So if there's any technical questions anyone wants to ask, they can ask them. And we've also got Hayley on as well, who's part of the IFA events team. So she looks after all the events. So she kindly hosted this. The reason why they're all online is because we want to make sure that you guys, you members, get all of the information that you need, that you're compliant as much as possible, and we can answer your questions right from the start here. Hayley can also assist you with making sure that you're CPD compliant. So if there is any CPD events you want to attend, you have problems registering, or have any general questions, Hayley can also assist along with myself, Bill, and Tim. So that's a little bit of an introduction from myself and the rest of my team. So now we'll go through this. So the purpose of today's renewal webinar, as I've said, is to assist members with how to renew your membership, how to complete your member return, how to complete your firm return, and how to upload your CPD requirements. Now, in order to renew your membership, you need to ensure that you've paid your membership fees and completed your member returns. Now, I've gone to the IFA renewals webpage, which you can all see on the front screen. The renewals went live in November. I believe it was the 7th of November. And the deadline for making your payment and renewing your membership was the 31st of December 2023. That's why the webpage currently says it closed on the 1st of January. So if you haven't made your payment now, I do strongly insist that you contact us as quickly as possible to make your payment. If you are struggling financially, you can still apply for a reduced subscription. And on the website, within the member section, we do have a changes in circumstances, which is here. So you can go to your membership, you can go to changes in circumstances, and it will talk about reduced subscription. So I'll load the page up now for everyone to see. We talk about if you're moving into retired membership. So if you're relinquishing your practicing certificate or your firm moving into retirement, you can contact us. You can download an application form. Or if you're struggling financially, you've been hit by the economic climate, you've changed working hours, you have carers responsibilities, and you're now on a low income. If you can provide any evidence of any of this, please contact me. Send it through to the membership email account or me directly, and I'm quite happy to have a look, and we may be able to approve you for a reduced subscription. But just to reiterate, the deadline was the 31st of December. We will give members a bit of a grace period. So if you are still paying at the moment, you want to renew, please make sure you've paid by the 31st of March. If you're not paid by the 31st of March, your membership will lapse. This means that your membership will lapse, and if you're supervised by the IFA, your supervision will lapse as well. So again, on the web page, we've got lapsing, and if you lapse, unfortunately, it means that you won't be able to use your IFA designatory letters. You won't be able to proudly display your membership certificates. You won't be part of an IFAC registered body. You will lose all of the benefits that you've obtained over the last 12 months by allowing your membership to lapse. If you do lapse, there is a route back into membership for you, so you can reapply. However, if you do wish to reapply, you will have to pay a one-off readmission fee of £160, the late fee of £30, which would have been applied to you this year, and you would also have to pay your annual fee. So there is a substantial financial penalty for lapsing your membership. So I do strongly suggest that you contact us as quickly as possible. In addition to that, you will also need to demonstrate that you have met the CPD requirements for the last 12 months. So you will have to, as I said, pay your fees, do your returns, and provide CPD if you lapse. So I do strongly suggest, if you are struggling financially, to give us a call as soon as possible. Any questions from anyone so far? I will ask questions as I'm going through because I think it will help with the topics. So any questions from anyone in relation to the payment structures or reduced subscriptions? If not, I can move on to my next section. Mian, you've got one. If you just put the questions in the Q&As and I can answer them as we're working through. You're just going to have to type the question in, Mian. I'm not sure what you mean from that. Sorry, Disha. Where other can see my membership? Okay, so Mian, I'll answer your question. Yes. So we're going to be moving on to doing the member returns now shortly. It is a mandatory requirement, and I will cover that off as we're working through. But just so everyone who is online at the moment, if you have access to a computer or your phone, you can log in and actually do your return on the phone or on your computer whilst I'm working through this with you live. It is a mandatory requirement for all members, and I will go through that now. So let's move on to that section. So, all right, we're in the question. So in order to renew your membership, as I've said, you need to make sure that you complete your member return, your firm return if you're supervised by us, and pay your fees. Now, we've talked about the fee section. We will now move on to the member return. So in order to complete your member return, all you have to do is simply go to the IFA website, which we're currently on at the moment, click on the login button and enter in your member ID number and your password. So I am going to log in into my own personal account. and I'm going to complete a member return online for everyone to see now, and you can see how quickly it is for it to be done. If anyone wants to log in as well at the same time, please feel free to do so. Please use your member ID number and your password. If you're not aware of this, please put it in the chat function, and then what I can do is I can contact you separately. So I've successfully logged in now, and as you can see at the top it says welcome David Hayes, so I know it's myself. If you're supervised by the IFA for compliance with the money laundering regulations as an IFA member firm, it may say your firm name up the top, so please make sure you've logged into the correct dashboard before you start to work through. So your member return is really straightforward, and what we're looking for you to do is to complete and update your personal details, your contact details, your member return, and we'll update your CPD records. So we'll now work through each section. If anyone has any questions, please do just put them in the Q&A and I'll answer them as we're working through. So personal details, we simply click on, it will redirect us to the personal details. It may take a second. Fantastic. So all we're asking you to do here is to confirm that the personal details we currently hold on file for you are correct. So I'm going to make a small change here. I'm going to say that I've now become a doctor, and I'm going to make those saves. Once you press the save, you can see it says personal details was successfully saved. So you know you've made those changes. This could include any changes that you may have from a professional point. So you may have changed the company you work for, you may have changed your position, you may have changed your employment sector. So in addition, you may also want to change your certificate name. So you may want to add a middle name in there, for example, moving forward. Contact details. We move on to the next one. So we can see I've got a home address overseas, and then I've also got a business address, other address, telephone number, and email address. So I'm going to change my country and say, actually, it shouldn't have been Paraguay. It should have been United Kingdom. We now find United Kingdom. We agree, and we click save. It's very user-friendly, very easy to use. Home state is required. So if there is anything that goes incorrectly, it will come up at the top, which is great. So we know the system's working correctly. We click save. And that's your contact details done. So very straightforward, two simple things to do. And 99% of the time, your personal details or your contact details won't change unless you specifically change your home address, your email address, telephone number, or something changes where you have become, as myself, gone from a Mr. to a Doctor. So now if we move on to your member return. Mianyu was talking about whether this was a mandatory requirement, whether you're based in the UK or overseas. So your member return is a mandatory requirement, as I said. The reason I have Tim and Bill are both on the line is because Tim is the Director of Professional Standards and Bill is the Head of Compliance. So if you don't complete your member return, you could potentially face disciplinary issues. So the fact that we have Bill and Tim online is very good. So if you do have any questions, Mian, or anyone else online, Tim and Bill are happy to answer these. But this is a mandatory requirement under the IFA bylaws. I believe it's bylaw 12.2. So please ensure that this is completed. If you don't complete it, you may face, as I said, regulatory fines, something we would like to avoid. This is the main reason why we're offering this webinar today, to try and assist members with completing these returns as well. So we've clicked on the link. We're now being redirected to our member return. Apologies for the slight delay. It's just taking a minute for it to load through. That is not a good sign, but let me just redo that. It's good that it's happened for me, so hopefully I can show everyone that the issues you might have. We'll just try that one more time. Okay. Bear with me 1 minute. Let me just try something technical in the background. Okay, thank you for putting that up. It says anonymous. Hopefully there's not an issue. If there is, apologies. I will see what I can do. This was tested a few minutes ago and it seemed to work, so apologies. This is not working at the moment. Okay, that is not good. Tim or Bill, have you ever seen that? Because that looks something that's slightly beyond myself, unfortunately, at the moment.
David, I'm just going to check my end, see if I can get access to it. So let me just bear with me. I'll see if I can get access to it. We can swap over, but just bear with me.
Fantastic, thank you.
And David, I have just accessed it and I have managed to get in, I think.
Okay,
it's worked for me, but I think I did my member return a while ago, so I don't know if it'll allow me to do it because it's already closed. But I can show people what it's in because I've already done my, because I'm a member and I've already done my member return.
Fantastic. I'm just going to try and see if it reboots itself by going into the firm return.
Yeah, David, it's working for me. So I guess the issue is your end.
Have a look. Yeah, let's try one more time. That seemed to work for the firm return, so hopefully that has worked now. Yeah, fantastic. That appears to have worked. So great that that's happened online, because actually every member here now can see that it's not just yourself who may experience problems. I also experience these when I'm doing a live webinar trying to explain how to do it. So that's great that it's happened now. So if any of you are having problems with that, what I've done basically is I closed it down and rebooted it. So I just changed a couple of things in the background. If you are having any major issues with that, please do give me a call. Either myself, Tim, or Bill, we're all on the line at the moment. We're quite happy to help with that. I can see there's a few Q&As, so I'll just see. Okay, David, thank you very much for letting me know that. Do you want to just try again one more time? I will give everyone a few minutes because I think there might have been an issue which has just affected a few members and myself as well. Yep. So Alan, you put a note on there saying, is there a clear and obvious indicator that my return is fully completed? So yes, I will show you how to submit one as well. So I'm actually into the return as well. So I'll give everyone a couple of minutes because obviously there was a few technical issues there. So I'll give everyone a minute or so just to try and load in. Fantastic. I probably agree with you there, David. Probably a lot of us trying to use it all at the same time. Okay, so I'll give it one more minute. Just wait for everyone to make sure that we're in, and then I'll start working through. Okay, fantastic. So let's start to work through your member return. So as I said, we've done your member, we have updated your personal details and we've updated your contact details. The reason we do those in your member dashboard is within your member return, we confirm that they are correct. So everyone's member dashboard will have these four of these 5 tabs. So you'll have a member profile, you'll have a fit and proper declaration, a CPD declaration, and a confirmation. Now, depending on what grade of membership you hold with the IFA, you may or may not have a public practice declaration. So if you are based overseas, you will not have a public practice declaration because the public practice is against UK members. And if you are currently in public practice, you will not have this either because and supervised by us, because we will obtain all of the information that we need from you through your firm return. So you will have this question if you are based in the UK or you are in practice and not supervised by the IFA. So everyone's might look slightly different, but you will always have a member profile, a fit and proper CPD, and a confirmation. And we'll now work through the sections. Each section will have information on there for you to read over. As you can see, it has a telephone number and an email address as well. So if at any stage you are having problems, you can call us directly or you can email us and we'll be quite happy to help. As you can see in the member return, or member dashboard, I originally changed my title from Mr. to Doctor, and you can see it's already filtered through. So now all we do is we just scroll forward and make sure that all of the information is correct. We also changed my address. So originally I was down as Paraguay. I've now changed it to United Kingdom. So we scroll to the bottom and I've already pre-populated a lot of the answers. So we would tick to make sure that that's all correct. We would move on to the next screen. So my current membership is I'm a member in business. So I'm not in practice. I do not offer accountancy services to the public for reward. I work for the IFA as a membership manager. So the question I've got here is, are you currently offering accountancy services? So I've ticked no. That then leads on to another question to say, are you planning to move into practice in the next 12 months? So the reason we ask those questions is to, one, make sure that you're compliant with the IFA regulations, and two, to see whether we can support you into your career change. Once we're happy with that, we click next. Fit and proper questions. So I have answered yes to one of my questions. So have you been subject to any debt or award that remains outstanding against you? So any of these questions, if you answer yes to them, it will automatically come up with a box underneath. If you answer no, the box will disappear. We need you to be truthful and honest with any of these. By answering yes to any of these, you will have to put the information in. A debt or award against you could be that there is a credit card debt, and it could be something as small as that. All the others I've answered no to. and we simply move on to the next section. The CPD I haven't answered yet, but I'm going to say that I am not compliant with the CPD, so I haven't done any CPD. Now, the reason you could put in there could be a multitude of things, so there could be any reason you put in there. Now, CPD is a mandatory requirement for all members, and as you can see here, we ask all members to complete 20 hours of verifiable CPD. We ask for you to also provide 20 hours of unverifiable CPD, so it's 40 in total. Most of the time, you will be undertaking CPD and you won't even realize it is CPD. So today's webinar will count as CPD. It will be 1 hour. So anyone who has attended, thank you very much for doing that. You've already got 1 hour of CPD for this year. CPD will also include doing stuff like HMRC webinars, attending the IFA branch events, and in a little while I will be going through how to upload CPD events and actually going through some of the IFA CPD. So if you haven't done any CPD, please answer no and put the reason. If you have, obviously answer yes. We move on to the next section. And the final section is, do you agree with everything? So once you've done all of that, you simply click submit. Oops. I can see that actually I've missed off a question. So as you can see, very intuitive system. If you've missed a question, it will flag pink. We can click on that, scroll down until we find the pink option. So actually I missed off the final question. So if we now click no, so are you currently in the process of any investigation or disciplinary procedure as described above? So I'm not. And I can click next. And now I can click submit. Before I click submit, I can see there's a Q&A, so I'll just have a look at that. So Omar has asked a question of, if I'm a sole trader, self-employed accountant in public practice, do I still have to file a firm return and pay subs unlike limited companies? So yes, you are a sole trader, which means you're a sole practitioner, which means you need to have IFA membership, a practicing certificate and firm supervision, and you will need to submit a firm return and a member return. And obviously I've got Bill and Tim on here, so if they disagree with anything, they're quite happy to come in and answer that. But yes, you will need all of that, Omar. So we've answered all the questions. And if we click submit, just take a second for it to submit. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. Fantastic. So that's now been submitted. So as you can see, it's got your name here, my name. Thank you for submitting your IFA member return. And if you want a copy of it, you can simply click on the print your declaration. So that's everything done for your member return. So if you are a member overseas or a member in business and you've paid your fees, your return's done, you've now done everything. So
David, just to go back to Alan's question from earlier, if you've successfully submitted your member return and you're back on that dashboard, the member return page, it will indicate that you've already submitted it, won't it?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to that now. So,
okay.
So we've done all of that. It's all been submitted. So if we close that down now, we'll go back in. So you're still in your member dashboard. We can now go on to proceed. And as we can see here, it says note, this declaration is now closed for further updates. So actually that shows that you've already done it. You don't need to do anything further. So as long as you've got this red notification at the top, you know it's been submitted. So now we've done your member return. We've completed all of those details. We now need to update our CPD records And for those who are supervised by us, also do our firm return. So before I move on to the CPD section, I'll just see there's a quick chat in there. Yep, so that's Alan, fantastic. So CPD records. So the IFA is very proud to offer a whole multitude of CPD over the last 12 months. So last year, we offered in excess of 120 CPD events. They were face-to-face, they were online, and there was a mixture of both. So there was a bit of interaction. We regularly run IFA tax bundles, which we're running this year. We are running financial reporting, AML matters, which is being run by Tim and Bill, and charity and payroll. So all of those are tax bundles. So as a member, you can apply for all of those. There'll be a big bundle. You'll get it as a discount as a member. And because it's a bundle, it will make up quite a considerable amount of your CPD. We also run at least one webinar every month, which is completely free. It lasts for 60 minutes. So if you were to attend one a month, you would get 12 hours of verifiable CPD without actually really doing a lot of work. All of those webinar CPDs can also be downloaded via the YouTube channel. So if anyone wants access to the IFA YouTube channel and you can't, you can obviously contact myself or Hayley, and both of us are quite happy to assist you with that. However, the YouTube channel, if you view it via the YouTube channel, it will be unverifiable CPD. It won't be verifiable. So obviously do attend these. You can ask questions during them as well. So it's very, very useful, very, very good CPD.
David, just on this CPD front, so you ought to be keeping a record of your CPD. You need to keep a log, and that's what the declaration says. It will say you need to confirm that you've met the CPD requirements and that you've kept a log that you can provide if we were to ask for it. But I agree with you when you say that the verifiable and unverifiable, but there are various ways that you can make unverifiable CPD into verifiable CPD, and they're outlined in the CPD regulations. They're only 6 pages long, so they're quite easily digestible. But if, for example, you were to watch a webinar, you were to watch one of our YouTube webinars after the date, so there's no output to say that you've actually completed it, you can make notes. You can make notes on it. You can have specific learning outcomes. You can make some notes of what you've got out of that CPD, and in that way you've made it verifiable. Yep. So again, just goes back to the idea that keep a log of your CPD, and there are ways that it's outlined in the regulations what we mean by verifiable and what outputs you'd need in order to prove that you've done that piece of CPD and looking for specific learning outcomes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Bill. Well, I am going to go through using the IFA CPD records as well. So if any members do want to use the IFA CPD records for recording it, I'm going to go through how to record an actual CPD event now. Just before I do that, the IFA does have a CPD webpage as well. So as you can see, there's a host of CPD events on here. We've talked about the tax bundles, which are these ones. We talked about the AML matters and financial reporting and the charity and payroll, of which we actually had one of the events 2 days ago. We also had an event yesterday as well, which was employment law, completely free of charge, 60-minute webinar. So this one, the IFA 60-minute webinar, will be available on the YouTube channel, but it will be counted as unverifiable. But as Bill said, if you can make notes and you can show that actually there is some professional development from watching that, it may well be counted as verifiable. So definitely worth looking, definitely worth attending. In addition to that, the IFA is also very proud that we have our national conference in June, and we have our AML online conference in May, which is being hosted by Bill and Tim. It's our first one. So if you are in practice or supervised by us, strongly recommend that you attend that. It's a really good interactive course. It's only £65 as a member, so definitely look at attending that one. On this page, as Bill said, we also have the CPD requirements. So any questions you might have in relation to CPD, what is verifiable, what's not verifiable. It will all be within the requirements. Okay, and what we do is we'll scroll back to your member dashboard and we'll just update the CPD. I'll just see if there's any questions quickly. No. So I'm going to add a CPD event now. So I'm going to add today's CPD as an example. So we have a date range. So if anyone's asking you what CPD have you done for the last 12 months, you can add your specific dates in, and then you can just simply search it. So if I say, let's change the year to 2023. Let's choose a date, 16th of March, and we click search. It will show all the CPD that I've done. I can email myself a copy of that, or I could email it to someone else. So you can actually change that. This will automatically populate with the email address that you've got in your personal details. So if you want to change it, you can do. I'm now going to add a new CPD event, and I'm going to add today's event. So we're on the 14th of March. Today's event is renewals. The title is renewals. Apologies. Provider is IFA. Type is verifiable because obviously you've attended today. And the hours is 1 hour. And we click correct and we save it. We've automatically updated that now, and you can see that's here. If at any stage you want to modify that, you can modify it. So you can click on modify. So for example, we put IFA. If we wanted to actually put down the person who was delivering the course, so you can be more specific, you can put down the name and then click save again. And then that's updated it. So I can see there's a quick chat in there, so we'll just check on that. Okay, I'll have a look at that, Alan. Thank you very much for the suggestion. And that is how you upload a CPD event. Any event you undertake within the IFA, which is actually run by the IFA, such as myself or Bill or Tim, will automatically get updated to this once your attendance has been confirmed. If you register for an event but do not attend, you will not get any CPD points for it. So attendance is mandatory. If you was to view one of the YouTube channels afterwards, you will need to go in and specifically add those CPD events to it yourself. So the only ones which want to manually get added will be those which have been confirmed attendance by Hayley. So I can see there's Q&A here. Okay, so Mohammed, we've got structured and so please explain structure and structure event. I'm assuming you mean they're verifiable and unverifiable. So unverifiable is something that you can't confirm or deny that was attended. Verifiable is something that you have attended. So that would be such as the IFA webinar today, or undertaking a master's or one of the IFA direct courses, or in addition, the AML Matters courses, any of the bundle courses. Obviously, I've got Tim and Bill on here as well, so I'm quite happy for them to assist.
David, can I just jump in there? Because I'm a member of various bodies and I have to keep CPD records, including IFA. And the way I do this is, if I'm not using the online CPD portal for some of the other bodies, I just have an Outlook folder that I call My CPD. And so I register for HMRC events, Companies House events, UK FRU, all sorts of events. And all the confirmation registrations I put in there, and then I keep a record of them just on a Word document. Then if my professional bodies need to see that, I can provide the Word document, and then if they select any at random, say, do you have confirmation of this, I just go into my Outlook folder and they're all there. I just keep a certain folder for CPD. It keeps it as simple as that.
Fantastic.
So that's just my way of doing that. And in terms of verifiable and non-verifiable, you're quite right, exactly that. It's if you're attending something, registering for it, and you get confirmation. So HMRC, UKFRU, Companies House, IFA, other professional bodies. Any events that you have to register for and get confirmation, they would be verifiable. Non-verifiable, reading, international accountant, IFA digital, reading agent updates that we send out every month, looking at social media and downloading reports. Just keep a record of all these things. They're unverifiable. You can look at interesting news articles on LinkedIn that are relevant to your subject. It's all part of your training and development.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Tim. Sylvia, I think you put one on there as well about IFA Direct. So IFA Direct does count as a verifiable CPD. And if you've been doing that whilst you've been a member, that will be counted as CPD for these 12 months. I believe you have. So yeah, it will count as CPD. And obviously moving forward, just continue to do the CPD that Tim and Bill have just explained there, and we can continue to work and support you through enrolling onto IFA Direct courses or IFA events. Fantastic. So that covers all of your member return now. So thank you very much to everyone for bearing with me. So we've worked through your member return, we've worked through your CPD, we've updated all of that. So if you're a member in business, a retired member, honorary, lifetime, or an overseas member, that's now everything complete. As Tim's just mentioned there, CPD records, you can update it. If you choose to use something else, that's completely your choice. If you're a member of 3 or 4 multiple bodies, it might be more beneficial to have your own in-house CPD records facility. If you're a member of just the IFA, maybe use the CPD records because then it can all just be stored in one place. But whatever easier for you on a regular basis, we're quite happy to work with you and support you. So the final part is just completing your firm return. So before I move on to the firm return, I'll just check the chat and the Q&A. Yep, so Adebayo, I will have a look at that. So that's just adjusting the default. So I believe that default setting is specific to whoever logs into the member dashboard. So you can update that as and when you choose. You can just simply change that. Yeah, fantastic, Sylvia. That's brilliant. So we shall now complete your firm return, and this will be almost the final part of my webinar. So thank you very much for bearing with me. So we've done everything for your member. So we now simply log out. And now we will log in as your firm. So we'll use your firm ID number. I've got one ready to go. You can use your email address to log in, but if you are using the same email address for your member dashboard and your firm dashboard, it might take you to the wrong place. So I would always recommend that you use your member ID or your firm ID. I'll give everyone a minute or so if they do want to log in and complete your member return, oh sorry, firm return. So I'll give everyone a few minutes just to log in. When you are getting ready to do your firm return, it's important that you do have information about your firm and your firm structure ready to hand. So you have a copy of your PII, you have a copy of your firm-wide risk assessment if you have that. You also have a good understanding of a breakdown of your income and your services. Doesn't have to be exact, but it needs to be fairly estimated. So if, for example, you believe your income is 300,000, yeah, let's say your income is, you believe it's about 326,000. 300,000 is fairly close. It doesn't have to be exact. Same as percentage when you're looking at services. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be 86.37. 85 will be more than sufficient. So it's so that we can do our supervisory responsibilities as an AML provider. So as long as it is within that sort of range, it will be absolutely fine. Sylvia, we've got a question from yourself. I will answer that at the end if that's okay with you, Sylvia. I don't want to detract from doing this, but make notes. I will come back to you on that one, Sylvia. Okay, so we've logged into your firm dashboard. And as I said, make sure that you have a good understanding of your firm before you're logging into this. So you know roughly what your services are, your income, you have a copy of your PII, and you have a copy of your firm-wide risk assessment. So we simply click on firm return. And then we work through these 5 sections. You can email yourself a copy of the firm return at any stage. But if we work through firm general, so this is the first section. So very similar to your member dashboard, what you're doing is you're confirming that the information we currently hold on file for you is correct. So it is the correct name. You are still a sole practitioner. You haven't brought on an additional partner or got a new affiliate. Company with company house is still the same company number, still the same email address. So we're happy that all of this is still the same. And we're going to click save. As you can see, it says firm data is successfully saved, and we can move on to the firm booms. Just taking a second for it to move forward. Okay, so we actually have one boom here, which is Bill. So Bill is 100% shareholder. If we wanted to remove Bill at any stage, we could click on modify and we could remove. If we wanted to change Bill's shareholding, so we're going to change Bill's shareholding from 100 to 76%. And we're going to click save. Now a boom is a beneficial owner, officer and or manager. So ultimately anyone who is involved in the money laundering side of your firm. So in order to be a beneficial owner, you need to have over 25% of the shareholding or the voting rights. As we can see, we've changed Bill from 100% to 76. So he is still the majority shareholder in that firm, and no one has above 26%. So there's no additional need to actually add another boom there unless there's an additional director in that firm. If you need to add anyone in, you can simply click on add boom, add the details in, and then they will be added. So we simply click add boom, member number or last name. So I actually don't, I'm going to see if I can find someone quickly. There we go. So I'm actually going to add myself to this firm. So I have no shareholding, I have no percentage, but I am a director in that firm. So I'm going to say I'm a director. I joined today. I'm not the main contact. I do hold a PC with another professional body. Click save. And as you can see, it's now changed from 1 boom to 2 booms. We now move on to the offices. And we just have the one office. We don't have any additional offices, so we're quite happy with that. If you do have any additional offices, you simply do the same as what you've done with a boom. Click on add office, and then it will add it. Very straightforward.
David, this
Yep.
might be a good opportunity just to say that if you do work from home, you don't need to occasionally, like we all do these days, you don't need to add that home. You don't need to add your home address as an additional office. What we mean by an additional office is a staffed office, something that somebody can walk in off the street and ask for accountancy services. So if you do work from home occasionally, you don't need to add that as an additional office.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Bill. I should have added that on. So yes, it is a staffed office. It's not any additional offices. So connected entities. So a connected entity is an additional AML, sorry, an additional ASP. So it's accountancy service provider. So if it's not offering accountancy services, we don't need to know about it. So if it's a florist or a bookshop or a corner shop, we don't need to worry about it. But if it's offering accountancy services, we do need to know about it. And it might be that that connected entity needs AML supervision in its own right. So please ensure you do add those on. And if we move on to your firm declaration, again, exactly the same page as what you see for your member dashboard. So we try and make everything as symmetrical as possible. We click on proceed. Hopefully I won't have the same issues I had before. Fantastic. So as you can see, I'm in the correct firm. I've got the firm ID number and the name. And then we work through each page as what we normally do. So as you can see, I've added myself. I've now been added to it. I've got my firm offices. I've got my connected entities. Everything's ticked. And you work through each page depending on what your firm structure is. So we have AML questions in there in relation to your AML responsibilities. We have fee protection, incapacity. So incapacity, if you are a sole practitioner, if you are getting close to the end of retirement, you need to make sure that you have an incapacity person in there. So someone who will take over your responsibility for your clients in the event of death or incapacity. We also have practice management, services, and PII. And I would ask each of you just to work through completing those to make sure that they are all done. Again, services, as I've said, it doesn't have to be exact. So it doesn't have to be 51.37 or 37.2. As long as it is fairly estimated and it is fairly close, then that is absolutely fine. Once you have successfully answered all of those questions, you will go to your declaration, make sure everything's been ticked, sign it at the bottom, and submit. So again, we've got the submit button up the top. You can quickly save, you can save and close as well, but we're going to try and submit. So again, exactly the same as your member return. If you've missed something off, it will flag up pink. So if we go into your declarations, and we can see actually I forgot to tick one of the boxes. So I'm going to tick that and press submit. Again, exactly the same as the member return. So it says, thank you for completing your declaration. If you want a copy, you can download it, or you can contact us and we can download and send you a copy as well. Again, exactly the same as your member return. Once you've submitted it, you can close it down. You can then try and proceed again, and it will come up red to say that it has been done. There you go. So it's all been done. So if you are a member supervised by us and you've paid your fees and you've logged into your member return and you can see this note, and you've logged into your firm return and you can see this note, you know everything has been done. Just see there's a quick Q&A. Okay, so if I have a second home and use that as an address on Google to register another website to get more client leads, does that count as a branch? I'm going to answer no to that, but I'm going to also...
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I did
as well.
Yeah, I've had that question before. No, what we mean by an office is it has to be somewhere that somebody, and think of it this way, if somebody can walk in off the street and just walk through the door and request any kind of accountancy services, then you'd need to declare it as an additional office. But if it's if you occasionally meet clients at home, you don't need to declare that to us. It's just something like if you've got a premises that's advertised with your branding, that somebody who's not a client can just walk in off the street and request services. That's what we mean by an additional office. Otherwise, I would just, otherwise you don't need to declare it to us.
So a good example of that as well is the IFA. So the IFA has one office in the UK, but actually a lot of our staff are working remotely. So their home addresses would not be classed as additional offices. So we have the one main office. I hope that answers the question there for you. Okay, and that is the webinar. So now I'm going to get to my closing. So as I've gone through with everyone today, we've gone through the payment section. So if anyone is struggling financially, please do contact us as quickly as possible. We can try and assist where we can. There is a section on the website which is changes in circumstances, where if you are struggling and you need a slightly reduced payment for membership, we can potentially look at that if you're on a low income. We've also talked about how to complete and submit your member return today to avoid regulation. So as I said, if you pay your fees but don't complete your member return or your firm return, you could potentially go into regulation under, I believe it's bylaw 12.2. So that's something we would like to avoid, which is why we've offered this webinar, and we're continuing to contact members. If we are trying to call you to assist you to renew, obviously answer the calls, try and assist with us as best as we can. We want to try and avoid you lapsing. We don't want you to lapse. So, yeah, give us a call. We'll continue to try and call you and help you as best as we can. If anyone does need any support with either completing the member return, completing the firm return, you can contact myself, Bill, membership team or compliance team, either on the telephone numbers or the email address. We're open, obviously, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. We're quite happy to talk with members. We're quite happy to do the returns over the phone wherever we can as well. So please do get in contact with us. Please do try and assist with us. If you're based overseas, we do have regional ambassadors as well in certain countries such as Pakistan, UAE, Saudi Arabia. So if anyone is overseas and you need assistance through that, you can contact one of those. They'll be quite happy to assist. All of them will contact me directly to assist you. So please do get in contact with us. Again, we also have the business development team who are contacting UK members. So if you go to any of our networking events, the London branch meetings, any of our ambassadors or the business development team can assist you with renewing. If you have any questions in relation to CPD, either the CPD regulations, you can contact myself, Bill, or Tim, or actually booking onto any of the events. Hayley's quite happy to assist you with that as well. So anyone within the IFA team is quite happy to assist. And I'll just open the floor up to the final chats and Q&As before I go. And if there's any final points from Bill and Tim.
David, the only thing I was going to say, I think someone asked about starting out in practice.
Yes. Sylvia, apologies.
And the answer is, because I'm heavily involved with hosting those, yes, it is our intention to run those again later on this year. But as you can see from our CPD web pages, we've got a lot going on in March, April, May and June leading up to the conference. So I would suspect it will be after the conference at some point, but we'll obviously send information around to everybody and advise people just to keep looking at our CPD section on our website to see it being updated almost daily.
Yes. Thank you, Tim.
Nothing really further from me other than to underline David's comments that if you've got any questions about CPD requirements or completing that firm return or your AML supervision, just give us a call, ask to speak to a member of the compliance team, and we're more than happy to help you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much to everyone for joining. Bill, Tim, Hayley, thank you for joining as well and supporting. Hopefully I look forward to seeing you all completing your returns and making your payments shortly. But just to reiterate, any questions, any assistance you need, please do give us a call as quickly as possible. The deadline for completing and submitting everything is the 31st of March, so it's approaching really quickly. So please do get on the phone, get on the email, give us a call, and we'll assist you as best we can. Thank you very, very much to everyone for joining. If there's any questions afterwards, just drop a line through to myself or Hayley, and we'll get in contact with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David.
Cheers all. Bye.